Almost every nation has at least a few tanks that were designed with a big emphasis on armor. A lot of those machines are rather slow, but pretty tough. Here are 7 of the most well-armored vehicles in the game. Number 7 is the British Tortoise, a tank destroyer with 152 to 215 millimeters of armor in the front. And that's not its only selling point. The Tortoise has decent protection all round. It's 152 millimeters of armor on the sides and 100 to 110 millimeters in the rear. Obviously, that much armor makes the vehicle very heavy. Even with its 650 horsepower engine, it can't go any faster than 19 kph. At the same time, even though the increased level of protection clearly makes the Tortoise stand out from the British tech tree, that's not enough armor to get it to a higher spot on our list. This T-95 is number 6. It's yet another heavy SPG, just an American one this time around. 305 millimeters of armor in the front, protected from almost any threats at its rank, while an excellent 105mm gun allows it to destroy its most common opponents right through the front. The biggest flaw of this beauty is, once again, its limited mobility. The max speed of the T-95 barely reaches 13 kph. We also have to mention that its cupolas have rather weak protection. Experienced tankers will aim at them before even trying to penetrate frontal armor. On the 5th place is the Japanese Hori Production tank destroyer. Its crew is protected by 225 millimeters of armor, but the best part of its defense kit is its 120 millimeter thick UFP that is sloped at 70 degrees. This thing allows you to survive being hit even by early heat rounds. Furthermore, the Hori Production is also the first vehicle on the list that is anything but slow. An 1100 horsepower engine has no difficulty making it run at 40 kph in RB. The 4th spot is occupied by yet another American vehicle, the T-32E1. 300 millimeters of armor in the mantlet is no joke. Basically, that means that with good enough positioning, when you reveal only your turret to the enemy, this tank can be almost invincible. Moreover, this is a rather speedy beast. You'll be going at the speed of 35 kph most of the time, allowing you to quickly rotate between positions. Furthermore, the tank comes equipped with a 90mm cannon that can punch through 221mm of armor with the right round. The 3rd place, the AMX-50 Fush. Its sloped upper glacis has an effective thickness of more than 300 millimeters, making it almost impenetrable for enemies at this rank, while the tank destroyer itself boasts even better mobility than any of the vehicles we've already mentioned, having its max speed of 50 kph thanks to a powerful 1000 horsepower engine. When it comes to firepower, the Fush isn't slacking off either. It carries a 120mm gun that can breach 300mm of armor. Number 2 is the Soviet IS-4M. Most of its legendary toughness comes from armor being angled at good angles, not just layers and layers of steel. That allows for a somewhat lighter vehicle. It's not exactly a speedster, but it's surprisingly spry for a 60-ton vehicle. In ideal conditions, it has a max speed of 43 kph in RB. All of that while its turret armor has the effective thickness of 250 millimeters and the UFP of around 320 millimeters. Barring it from being number 1 are a couple of big weak spots. Its driver hatch can be easily penned, and you can punch through the turret ring with a good bounce. And finally, the champion. Obviously, it's the mouse. What else? And why rely on sloped armor when you can just slap 200 millimeters of RHA all over your tank? Yes, it weighs 188 tons. Yes, its max speed is 22 kph. So what? Try to pen it, mate. The mouse is the prodigal, heavily armored tank. It's huge. It's very slow. Even its gun takes 18 seconds to reload, and it's the only vehicle worthy of being on the very top of this list. Well, we could also mention the Soviet IS-7 and the German E-100. The first because of its peculiar pike nose made of 150mm thick armor plates, the latter because it's basically Mouse number 2. But both of these tanks are event vehicles that are rarely encountered in battle. It is also worth noting that the most well-armored tank isn't the same as the best tank. Any combat vehicle design is a compromise between protection, speed, mobility, and firepower. You can't have it all, and every player is perfectly entitled to his or her own preferences in this regard. What vehicles from this list have you played on? Please share your experiences in the comments below.